Blue, the inside, go. We competing today.
Go. There you go.
We're moving.
This is Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh, presented by FanDuel.
The Jets and Dolphins will meet today in South Florida. Coming up, we'll go one-on-one with Robert Saleh, plus Brian Baldwin and Ethan Greenberg will get us ready for game day. But we start, as always, with Bart Scott, Leger Duzable. Bart, big picture. What do you want to see from the Jets over these final 4 games in the first year under Robert Saleh?
Well, starting this week, I want to see them with revenge in their hearts, right? And revenge is a dish best served cold, even though Miami's going to be hot. You know, they need to come out and they need to remember what they did, you know, in MetLife Stadium and go out with a sense of urgency, understanding that, you know, it's going to be a hot environment, understanding that you have to game plan for playing in those elements so that you can be the best version of yourself. And also, you know, understanding, taking some of that data that they learned from the first matchup and applying it to the second one, understanding that these are guys that you're going to be going against in your division twice a year. So if you want to be able to get some type of stats, you know, be able to have big games against them, you have to have that detail. You have to start getting a book on this player does this well, he doesn't do this well, this is how I beat him, this is how he played me, this is some of his tells. You start getting that inventory, you get that book, that catalog that you can always go to, and then when those players go other places, you always have something on them to give yourself an added advantage.
Leger, take us inside that locker room right now. The outside world are saying, these games don't matter. The Jets are out of it. They're out of the playoffs. They're missing the postseason for 11th consecutive year. What is the mindset for the individuals on this team?
Well, as a player, every game matters, right? Because when you're going out there on the field, you're auditioning for 31 other teams. More specifically, if you're a free agent or who knows what could happen, you know, you might get cut at the end of the year. So your gameplay is your resume. So it means a lot when you go out each week. Like, it's a privilege to play in the NFL. Not everybody gets this opportunity. Effort has not really been an issue with this team. They just haven't had, you know, the players to make enough plays to win games, and sometimes they just haven't played the smartest.
What do your actions say about your makeup?
You know, your talent will define the floor, but your character will decide the ceiling, right? And what you talk about, you want to see guys, because, you know, you're going to have winning streaks, losing streaks. You want to know how guys are going to react when things are going bad. Are you a guy that double downs and you continue to pull the ship down? Or are you a guy that's going to get a bucket and start throwing the water over the side and say, no matter, you know, how little it is or how little water I'm throwing out the boat, eventually if I keep going, eventually the boat will start coming back up instead of subsiding.
Speaking of character, I like what Sheldon Rankin said last week. He said of rookie quarterback Zach Wilson, he's going to go through struggles. It is up to all of us to raise him up.
Yeah, when you're playing with a rookie quarterback, you would hope that some of your veteran players can uplift them because you know going into the season it's going to be a struggle. No rookie just comes in, kills it right away. Now, Justin Herbert did last year, but that's few and far in between, right? He's the exception. He's not the rule. And when you have veterans around a good young player, you would hope that they could pick him up when he does struggle. Like some of the times where he throws the ball a little bit behind you would hope that some of your veterans could come up with some of those catches because that instills confidence in the young quarterback. And then if, you know, his veterans are making those plays for him, then he has the confidence to be able to throw the ball on time, throw it where it needs to be thrown. You just want to see the young quarterback continue to progress, and you just don't want to see him be inconsistent, right? You just want to see him grow.
Don't go anywhere because after the break, we'll catch up with Jets head coach Robert Saleh.
Now it's time to go inside the walls, brought to you by FanDuel.
Where are you seeing the most significant progress from your young team?
You see it in different facets. You know, obviously the results aren't what we want, but you look at our back end and they've been getting better every week. You look at the young receivers before Elijah got hurt. I mean, he was taking a big jump. Really excited to get some of these young guys back, but just the overall identity and the picture that's being painted and the clarity at which we, at the direction we need to go is just kind of, all of it's kind of exciting. Obviously we've got 4 games to try to go win, but at the same time it's, you know, with each passing day and each passing moment, the clarity of everything that we're trying to get accomplished is becoming so clear. And the players that we have in this building are going to be exciting to build around for years to come.
C.J. Mosley, 17 tackles for the first time in his career. That's 7 games this season with 10-plus tackles. I don't want to ask you about what he is on the field. What does he mean to you inside that locker room with so many young players?
CJ's a machine. He's the veteran that everybody hopes for. He's a superstar. He's a playmaker. He's coachable. He's respectful. He's everything, and just couldn't be more thankful enough to have him in this building.
Michael Carter II, expected back in the lineup this week. Have you been impressed by the way he's handled one of the most difficult positions in the National Football League?
Yeah, I mean, he's smart. He's only going to get better too. Like, we talk to him all the time about triggering and being quicker to trigger, and he's done nothing but get better since he's walked in this building. And obviously he's missed last game, but getting him back into this building and back into the lineup so he can finish the season strong and propel himself in the next year. There's such a feel that happens in that spot, and he's got a chance to finish strong and really take a big jump next year in that same spot, because there is an instinctive feel part that, like you said, it's one of the more difficult positions in football, and the way he's handled it has been pretty cool, and he's only going to get better as he gets more comfortable. How
big will it be to get both Michael Carter, the running back, and Tevin Coleman, because they both were providing so much juice before the accident with injury?
It helps everything. It helps the run game, helps the O-line, helps the quarterback, helps the pass game. It helps the play caller. It helps Mike upstairs, knowing that he's got two guys that he can rely on. And I always define a running back on how many yards he gets for beyond what the offensive line blocks for him. So if an O-line blocks for 5, can you go get 8, 9, 10? Or an explosive. If an O-line blocks for -2, can you get back to the line of scrimmage? If they block for nothing, can you get 2 or 3? That to me is the definition of a good running back. And Michael, when you watch him play, he always gets more than what's blocked for him. He always makes guys miss. He falls forward. He's just a unique back in that sense. So really excited to get him back. Tevin obviously is just so explosive, and so to get those two guys back is pretty cool for the offense.
What did you find here in George Fant this year?
A versatile guy that if you give him a home can be pretty damn good. And he's been the victim of his athleticism since he's been in this league. He's played tight end, he played guard, he played tackle, he's played left, he's played right, he's played all over the place. And he's gotten a chance to kind of sit there at left tackle and call left tackle home, and he's done nothing but get better. He works his butt off at practice. There's nothing you can't ask him to do. So really excited for him, really excited to see how far he can go, because he's still not done getting better either.
Can you elaborate on the 3 things you're emphasizing with rookie quarterback Zach Wilson?
We've been talking about his tempo, his eyes, and don't overanalyze the play. And it sounds simple, but tempo as it pertains to his footwork and making sure that he's consistent to the top of his drop, and then whether he has to speed up or slow down based on what he sees. And then just having the discipline to just stay focused on the progression, 1, 2, 3, balls out, or I'm exiting the pocket and scrambling, and understanding that you don't have to overanalyze football yet. It's not, you don't have to play the 501 game. You don't have to do that yet. Right now it's just about getting comfortable, making easy completions, get the ball to your playmakers, and let the offense happen. There's going to be times though, and we kind of saw last week where, he's been very consistent in his footwork since he got hurt, and obviously the 2 weeks that 2 weeks that he played in Houston, Philadelphia, and then New Orleans, you started seeing him kind of exit the pocket and show some of that mobility that he was famous for in BYU. But I think that's part of him being very consistent in his tempo, very consistent in his footwork, and starting to feel the things around him, and he was able to create off schedule. Now it's just a matter of continuing just to harp on those details and stay disciplined, and almost to a fault, and just trust that you'll get better from all of it.
Finally, how about the challenges of going to virtual meetings this week? Obviously, you guys are going to be outside on the practice field for practices and walkthroughs, and then playing in South Florida, heat and humidity in December.
Yeah, the virtual stuff, we're pretty used to it by now. We've had some virtual meetings here, even during the season and spurts, so we're fine there. It shouldn't really affect anything, but obviously going down to Miami is going to be a little bit different, changing in climate and all that stuff. Hopefully it's at this time of year it's not too bad, even though it will be. I know they've got a new shade over their stadium and all that stuff, but it's a challenge that we're excited for. It's gonna be fun to go down there and play, and it's gonna be a great challenge.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the New York Jets. Coming up, Brian Baldinger takes a look at what to expect out of the Dolphins, and Ethan Greenberg will preview Week 15 in the AFC East. Stay tuned. Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by FanDuel.
Welcome back. Eric Allen with Bart Scott and Leger Douzable. Bart, it is the Jets and Dolphins today. What do you make of the AFC East so far this season?
I'll tell you what, it started out, top heavy, and now you look at what's happening now, and you look at the Bills. Now they're finding themselves in duress, the Dolphins, and the Jets are in a different process than both of those teams. Both of those teams are a couple years ahead of their rebuild. The Jets are behind. Long term, though, a lot of people entered this season thinking it was the Bills and everybody else. Now we see New England back on the rise. They're the favorites inside the division. Miami suddenly on a 5-game win streak. And Bart just talked about the New York Jets being part of a rebuild right now.
Yeah, and if you're the New York Jets, right, it's your biggest fears, right? Because New England seems like they found a young Tom Brady to come in and they could potentially maybe run this division again. And as Bart was just saying, like, everybody in the beginning of the year just had the Bills penciled in as a division winner in the AFC East. I think a lot of people had them penciled in as maybe the AFC championship, but that's why the game is played on the field. And the Jets are in a different, limelight as far as where they're at in the process. We knew drafting a quarterback in the first round, it was a true rebuild. I can't remember the last time the Jets had a true rebuild, but I felt like this is one of the first years they had a true rebuild before they try to supplement some pieces and still make a run. But this is really starting over from the top. So it's just interesting that, like you talked about it, EA, everybody thought that this division was going to be one of the weaker divisions in football, but now you're talking about 3 out of the 4 teams making a playoff push.
Yeah, and Bart, finally, from a Jets perspective, it's not crazy to think, is it, that you can be one of those teams maybe next December, one of those 26 of 32 teams who are playing significant football that has playoff meaning there in December. Not saying you're going to be a playoff team.
That's the mandate. The mandate is next year, bidding for a playoff or possibly the division. Right? When you look at, every team, you look at Miami, they had their big spending spree last year, right? You look at the Patriots, the Miami's 2 years in a row, big spending spree. A lot of transactions. You look at New England. New England spent more money than anybody, more money than they've ever spent in the Bill Belichick era, right? So of course, when the Bills have been there for the last 2 years, and getting high price, off-season acquisitions, trading for Stephon Diggs, going heavy in the draft, bringing in Emmanuel Sanders. They've done that. No, the Jets have yet to do that. You don't want to jump on a place where it's already trending because you may be too late. By the time you get there, the first year or the second year may be good, but the third and fourth year of that contract may be bad. You want to jump on right at the beginning of it so that you can be at the height of the superpowers. You can have an extended run, in this league with a real opportunity to win the Super Bowl.
For more on the Miami Dolphins, let's get to the film room and Brian Baldinger.
I really want to go in the film room and take a look at this Dolphins defense. They're doing a lot right now, and they're doing it really well. The Dolphins have a conundrum. When you get to third downs, they have a blitz zero package. Well, they'll put everybody up at the line of scrimmage. Sometimes they bring them all, sometimes they drop them, but ultimately they want to get a free hitter to the quarterback and affect the throw. Now, they don't always bring them. Like, for example, here, they only rush 3. They're going to drop 8, but they're going to get the quarterback to get the ball out of his hands faster than he wants to. And they can't get enough yards on third down. Now, here's an example here. They're going to bring 1 more than you can block. All right, Giants keep in 7 to try to protect Mike Glennon. But Eric Rowe comes free. When you watch it, watch Eric Rowe, number 21. They pick up just about everybody, but they get a free hitter. And he affects the throw, going right for the quarterback's arm. All right, and that ball just flutters. But ultimately, you have to be prepared for a lot of twist stunts. Like number 15, Jalen Phillips is a rookie. He's their best rusher. But they do a lot with him. They'll put him inside, they'll put him outside. But this is just a 4-man rush, and they're going to run a twist stunt inside, and he's going to take 2 Giants with him. Just drive, and it frees up Adam Butler to get to the quarterback. You got to be prepared for the twist stunts, the overloads, and the free hitters, especially when you get to third down.
This is the AFC East Roundup.
Taking a look around the AFC East, the Patriots and Colts already played Saturday night, but circle your calendars for next week when the Patriots host the Bills in Foxborough. So with that, let's start in Orchard Park where the Bills host the Panthers. Buffalo's dropped 2 in a row and is now coming off an overtime loss to the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. But in that game, quarterback Josh Allen became the 4th quarterback in NFL history to throw for at least 300 yards and run for at least 100. You take a look at the other guys that have accomplished this, pretty good company, and Lamar Jackson did it in the playoffs, which means that Allen is one of 3 quarterbacks in NFL history to do so in the regular season. And the Bills play 3 of their next 4 at home. Their only road game is next week against New England. Carolina, on the other hand, is on a 3-game losing streak. Both quarterbacks Cam Newton and P.J. Walker played last week against the Falcons in their 29-21 loss. Wrapping up in South Florida, the Jets play the Dolphins for their second of 2 meetings. And Miami, one of the hottest teams in the NFL, it's on a 5-game winning streak. The Fins enter this game coming off their bye week, and it could be shorthanded based on what players remain on the reserve COVID-19 list. Tua Tagovailoa has a 109.2 quarterback rating during Miami's win streak, and the Jets will see wide receiver Devontae Parker for the first time this season. He missed the first game between these teams and has 13 catches for 147 yards over his last 2 games. Will the Bills snap their losing skid, and will the Jets put an end to the Dolphins' win streak? Kickoff is around the corner.
Don't go away. The guys are back with final thoughts on the matchup with Miami after this. Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by MetLife.
Welcome back, Eric Allen with Bart Scott, Leger Duzable. Jets, Dolphins today. What's been the key to Miami's revival here?
I think Tua Tagovailoa, you look at his completion percentage, right? Getting the ball out of his hand, being decisive, not turning the ball over. And I think they found the groove. And, it never hurts when you hear people threatening your job, all the Deshaun Watson. I think when Brian Flores said, hey, we're all in on Tua, I think that gave him a sense of ease and allowed him to play mistake-free. And he's not been injured. What they worry about in Miami is the fact that he's so slight that he has an injury history that you can't count on him long term. The fact that he's been able to be healthy, he's been able to be mistake-free, has really freed this defense to be able to play with this defense. And they're playing a certain type of way, right? He's not turning the ball over, he's been efficient, and his defense has been playing at a very high level.
Dudes, reinforcements on the way for the Jets. Michael Carter offensively, Michael Carter defensively, Bryce Huff, Tevin Coleman, Tyler Kroft, they're all expected back. What's the key for the Jets to be in this game late?
If you're on defense, you have to stop that RPO game and the run game. Now, we don't know what Miami's situation will be like. There's a lot of guys on COVID protocol, so we'll see what they have in the backfield around game time. But you have to stop the run, and you got to stop the RPO. You got to take that away from Tua because that is his comfort area. On offense, though, Zach Wilson has to be, aware of this blitzkrieg that's coming because Miami Dolphins are so multiple in their blitz package. Beginning of the year, they really struggled on defense, but ever since that Thursday night game versus the Baltimore Ravens, they have been on fire with their blitz packages. So if you're Zach Wilson, you just have to be decisive with the ball. You're going to get a lot of man coverage. I think Joe Flacco did a really good job knowing where to go with the football the first time these 2 teams met in blitz coverages, and Zach Wilson will have to do the same thing.
The Jets had opportunities to win that game
Absolutely.
at MetLife Stadium, but Joe Flacco was the starting quarterback, a 24-17 loss. If you're in that offensive meeting room this week, what did you say to Zach Wilson about what he's going to be facing? Because nobody blitzes more than the Dolphins.
Yeah, but you live by the blitz, you die by the blitz. That's why quick screens, understanding where your hots are. Also, like when these guys coming in, sometimes you let some of these guys go and you trap them, right? You use their aggressiveness against them, right? Rut routes, pick routes when you know that the cover 0 blitz is coming. But when you talk about all these guys being mugged up, run the ball right at them. Because when you do that, they're naturally going to start going backwards, right? Because they have to get back to their responsibilities. It's a great opportunity for draws, in my opinion, draws and delayed runs. But right up the middle. Because when you attack those type of things, guys are already on their heels because they're going backwards and they think it's a pass, and then those linemen can just take off and run at them and sprint at them and get bodies on bodies. You have to be strong between the tackles. You can get home runs.
December football in Florida. Will the Jets play spoiler today? We're about to find out. We'll see you on Jets Overtime on all our digital platforms following the game.